Atuŋak pattern and cutting with Kunaq. What you will need: maklak, aglawn, salisik, Kammak, avoivik, ikun, agra, and ugrakide. Let's make your pattern. You will need a paper and pen. With that, you will trace your foot that you want to make your pattern with, making sure to go all the way around. It's important to put all your weight on your foot so that it spreads out the way it naturally does when you're walking. After that, draw about 1/4 of an inch around your foot pattern, and this will allow space for your lining. Once you have your pattern cut out, go ahead and trace that onto a larger piece of paper. And then you will measure out your pattern using your fingers. Do 3 fingers on the heel, or about 1.5 inches. And then use 2 fingers on the sides, or about 1 inch, and do 3 fingers again on the toe, or 1.5 inches. These are traditional ways of measuring to make your hard soles, and it allows for any shrinking that happens with the skin. Once you're done with this, go ahead and make a rough sketch around your pattern. Once you do that, go ahead and fold it in half, making sure that both sides meet up together so that you know that it's right in the middle. After you do that, you will go ahead and cut out your pattern on the big toe side. And so you'll know that when you cut it out, it will be nice and symmetrical. Your toes should be wider than your heel. So when you make this pattern, make sure that your heel is not as wide as your toe. Alright, time to trace and cut onto your ugrak sole. I had already pre-cut ugrakide here, and it's a little bit big, so I go ahead and trace my pattern that I just made onto the ugrakide. I like to use a permanent marker because it stays better on the ugrakide. I do that to both of the soles, and once I'm done, I grab a really sharp sewing ulu and start cutting out the pattern. This part can be dangerous, so make sure your ulu is nice and sharp. It may also take a while, so be patient with yourself. Take your time. This is really important so that you don't accidentally cut inside of your pattern. You want to be as accurate as possible. Once you're done with that, you're ready to de-hair the Atuŋak. You'll need your ikun and your ash. Go ahead and rub that ash into your hair side of your Atuŋak. Don't be shy, put a lot in there. The more the better. It's easier to get the hair off that way. If you don't have ash, it's also good to use fine sand. So use firm pressure, not too much pressure because you don't want to scratch the black layer of the skin off. Just enough till you notice the hair comes off. And I like to scrape against the hair grain. I find that to be the most efficient way to remove the hair. It's good to take your time on this part so you can get all of the hair off. Alright, once you have all of the hair off, you can go ahead and wash them with cold soapy water and get all of that ash off of there. And the next step would be to skive the edges. You'll need your sharp ulu and your cutting board. And what you're going to do is cut a 45-degree angle on the edges of your Atuŋak so that it comes to a point. This is an important step to the process of making your own Atuŋak because it'll help you when you sew the body of the Kammak onto your Atuŋak. And it also makes for a nice even finish. I like to hold my Atuŋak down with my hand and use my sharp ulu to cut at a 45-degree angle down, making sure I don't cut through the skin on the dark side. You're just angling it down all the way to the edges. It may take a while to get used to this, so take your time, but eventually you'll get to the point where you're able to do this quickly and easily, and it'll really help with your sewing. This is how it should look like when you're done. And you've finished your atuŋak, and now they will be ready to moisten for crimping. Thank you for joining me today, and look into my next video as we crimp our atuŋak.